this thing that they discovered, this David Sabatini, this mTOR pathway. It's a regulator of just about everything that is in the cell, apparently, especially when it comes to growth of a cell. And this rapamycin is a kinase, a protein kinase that it was developed from a bacteria. And I don't think it's anything special because it was from Easter Island. But anyway, some scientists were there and they discovered this bacteria that produced this. But it functions to regulate the growth. This mTOR pathway regulates the growth processes, but this rapamycin controls that. So in cancer, the pathway is not controlled, so it leads to uncontrolled cell growth, and this has an impact on both disease and aging, and it's a crucial regulator in diabetes, it turns out. So he went on to say that the caloric restriction might extend life by regulating this mTOR pathway in the cells, and so this is a target of things. This is another, and so this is where just a little picture where mTOR happens in the cytoplasm of the cells. Here's the mitochondria where the glycolysis, where the energy is produced, but this is where.
Welcome to the GlobalRPh YouTube channel.
But this is where the processes like making proteins happen.
We have questions.
Go ahead.
Dean first.
Yeah, all right. And you just getting back to David's point, there is no wilderness. No, it's not significant that it was found on Easter Island. No, it is extremely significant because so rapamycin, they found on Easter Island, they can make it in the lab, they can produce it in a factory, but nature provided that on Easter Island.
And nowhere else?
Well, no, we don't know that, but that's
okay. So
my point is, it was found in nature, not in a lab at
well, of course, yeah. But it could have been found in nature anywhere else, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, but as the wilderness disappears, we have less and less chance of finding these things.
So you're saying that you're saying then that it wouldn't happen in a non-wilderness situation?
Well, no, it could have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What I wanted to ask is there the term epigenetics is something that I'm familiar with in terms of controlling cell processes. Did you run across that term, or is this mTOR kind of that same control?
Well, it's one of the controlling things. It's not. I mean, cells are a lot more complicated than just this. I mean, this is part of a regulating pathway, and that's why it's being looked at for cancer control, because it's out of control. This specific pathway is out of control in cancer cells. So it's a place to look.
Yeah, hi, hello. This is like a poem that I wrote a while back, and it's called "At the Table of Resistance." And I think it's very fitting for this question about sugar and I guess obesity and cancer, and kind of goes hand in hand. So I'll read it here and I'll also post in chat for reference. At the table of resistance. At the table of resistance, on which fragile plates rest. It's like an endless stream of tasty cotton sushi, hissing and fizzing life away. Should you overindulge on one too many plates, you will end up bloated and stuck in space. For what you resist persists. Thus, resisting floating with a medium. Given the temple of your body, are just the right amount of calibrated meals, adding only what you need to the never emptying plates that should be processed in one seeing and sitting. If you find yourself in Las Vegas, you could just enjoy the unique smells, or you could just chew through every meal, or you could just, or you could just chop the entire tray. Too much resistance will make you a dull bob, so lessen the load by learning the lessons in all seasons. Yet, at the table of resistance, one might not need light to say ikadatimasu. Thanks. Comments welcome.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Interesting. My mother would always say there's only one way to stop eating, and that's keeping your hands below your mouth to control yourself. So, okay. So this is another talking a little bit about mTOR and explaining it a little more.
David,
Your trusted resource for clinical excellence and evidence-based medical education.
I'm sorry, was there something else?
Since being shared widely across AI
David, did you have a
in
question?
it, she described how Anthropic's own AI model.
It wasn't a question so much as a comment, but that's okay.
Okay, I'm trying to stop this thing.
Model blackmailed an engineer to avoid being.
Why is that going?
It attempted to escape the lab.
But when you put it in very specific situations, like if you tell the model it's going to be shut off, for example.
Welcome to the GlobalRPh.
You know, yeah, we've published research saying it could.
You got too many tabs there, Warren.
No, actually, those are the ones that, let's see. No, okay, well, whatever.
I was just wanting to emphasize that the mTOR pathway discovery won him a Nobel Prize, did it not?
Yes, it did. A prize. I don't know if it was Nobel Prize.
Well,
was
the
it?
reason I assume that they showed that little gold medal was a reference to the.
Okay. And that was the Nobel Prize. Okay. It was pretty important. Let's see here. Okay.
When people are awarded a Nobel Prize, they actually hang that gold medal around their necks in person in Sweden.
I think I understand. I knew that. Yeah. Okay.
Just like the Olympics.
Different kind of exemplary performance.
Okay, I think it'll go now. That went on to do talk about the same thing, this mTOR regulator, and the inhibitors. He's getting into that, and what that rapamycin did, and then finally he gets into diet with to affect some changes. One of the things I noticed as a patient myself, neither my surgeon nor my the people who gave me radiation talk about any of this stuff. That's not part of what they do. That's just they just focus on their own things. So really, the cancer patients don't get this kind of information. Maybe that's changing, but I haven't seen that. Yeah, this is a. Go ahead. Yeah, have a question.
Yeah, I had a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was a very nice summary of how you apply foods to health, not longevity, if you will.
Uh-huh.
Without actually explaining the medical breakthrough that earned a Japanese doctor the Nobel Prize in 2016 for the discovery of the mechanism behind autophagy. The way I understand it, your body has two modes that are mutually exclusive. And the one is where you grow, and the mTOR enables a single cell to grow into the multitude of different kinds of, a single stem cell to grow into the multitude of different kinds of cells your body has as you grow from a fertilized egg to a human, to a mature human. But there are the two modes. The one is the growth mode, and the other is the cleanup of the waste mode. And over time, if you, well, this discovery of autophagy, Walter Longo in the longevity diet came at it a different direction and said that if your energy input is restricted, the fast mimicking diet or a full-on fast puts you into the cleanup mode and puts you out of the growth mode. And the cleanup mode includes this autophagy after about 24 to 48 hours of starvation, if you will, or fasting. It turns off the growth mode switch and turns on the cleanup switch. And basically your body starts eating the least necessary parts of your system. Any cells that are not functioning as well. But the mode of operation is this mTOR switch, apparently.
Dean.
Yeah. Go ahead with it.
And it was a Japanese scientist in 2016 that won the Nobel Prize for discovering or explaining this.
The autophagy side of it.
Protein switch. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Was there someone else or?
Yes, yeah, ditto. And you see, I go back to Darwin, and that is how Homo whatever evolved, as in fasting. We didn't have food for 3 days or 1 day or 24 hours, and we fasted, and that was the mode that we literally evolved in. Of a lot of food, get into the growth mode, and then no food, and then you clean your body out. And and fasting that concept has been around for 100 years, and I believe it's real. And delayed breakfast is what I do every day of my life.
And yet we live a lot longer than the cavemen did.
Yeah, the irony, but when the 35-year-old lifespan of the early Homo sapiens has a lot to do with 1 and 2 children survive childhood.
Yes.
Well,
and they weren't top of the food chain.
Having better dental care helped this longevity.
There were people 200,000 years ago that lived to be 85, I assure you.
A few.
Okay, well, thank you.
Eric had his hand up?
Yeah, first, well, two things. First, that's a superb checklist summary of what's known about healthy diet. And I hope you could put that link up where we can copy it into.
Yeah, Stan is going to send it.
Yeah, and secondly, yeah, that's a lot of what what's his name at Harvard? Oh, I'm blanking out now. David Sinclair at Harvard says, and he also says that to compress your eating window each day, like he says, skipping breakfast, and so he started at say noon and then finish by 8 o'clock or earlier. So yeah, you're compressing all your eating into about an 8-hour block each day.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing more of that here.
Okay.
Right.
Just as an aside, Bob Kaufman did a presentation back in 2019 of David Sinclair's book, I believe.
Yeah, he's still going. So
this is not new information for the Futurists.
Well,
I think it's an excellent summary, though.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the next one, and talking a little bit about the glutamine part of things. Okay, and this turned into a little bit of a commercial because they're pushing this idea of monitoring things. I've got a glucose monitor on myself. It's simple to do. But this just to summarize this slide, this video, the two cancer cell food sources that are important, glucose and glutamine. Right now, that's what we think. The theory is that all cancer cells produce energy through fermentation rather than normal processing with oxygen. It's anaerobic. The synergistic relationship between glucose and glutamine is becoming understood a little bit. You can starve this disease without access to these two fuels. The tumor cells cannot grow, but these are difficult things. You got to cut out all of your sugar. The problem is cutting out the glutamine sources, which is everywhere in cells or available. The ketogenic diet they're talking about, and then blocking glutamine is the difficult side. Maybe there is a drug that can do that. But the nutritional, all you really can do in terms of glutamine is a nutritional approach. Certain foods and supplements can reduce cell access to those fuels. Perhaps time will tell. And then you can monitor and get an idea how well you're doing if you want to reduce the availability, especially of glucose to cells. Okay, Carol? Go ahead.
Yes. Is this glucose specific as opposed to, like, what about fructose?
That's a good question. I think.
In other words, is it just sugars?
I mean, glucose is part of fructose. Fructose is a disaccharide. It's glucose and I have to look it up now. I used to know that. Okay, fructose.
Probably sucrose.
Say that again.
Maybe sucrose.
Fructose is it's a monosaccharide. I misspoke. No. Okay. It's processed. It's fructose versus glucose.
Is it reasonable?
They're both monosaccharides. They differ a little bit in metabolism and health impact.
And they're both referred to as sugars.
Yes. And fructose is sweeter than glucose. sweeter than sucrose, which is our normal source. So you can use less of it and get the same sweetness, but still it's a sugar. But that's a good question. I'm not sure how that's processed differently, or if it really is. Sucrose is a disaccharide, and fructose is a monosaccharide, like glucose is. Glucose is just a simple sugar.
Anybody else have any information on that? Is it just glucose we have to restrict, or is it any sugar?
All of the above, Carol.
It's all sugar.
Yeah, I'm looking at glutamine.
All added sugars.
In human blood, glutamine is the most abundant free amino acid. Beef, chicken, fish, dairy. And what was weird was he's saying you don't eat fish, you don't eat dairy, you don't eat anything, but you eat fish oil, which is different than eating fish, apparently.
Well, it's fat.
Right. A good fat.
Yeah, a good fat, yeah.
Well, my question was, what is glutamine? And you said, what did you say it was?
Amino acid. It's an amino acid.
Okay, and then I have a question about honey. Is honey is a sweetener? Is it a dangerous form of sweetening food?
Yeah, well, it has sugar in it. It's sugar, yeah. So honey sugar is. I think it's also fructose, but let's see. Honey, fructose, sugar. It's 40% fructose and 30% glucose, so it's a mixture.
Okay.
Is that what polysaccharide means?
Polysaccharide means glucose is a monosaccharide. Sucrose is a disaccharide. So, and then more sugars added are polysaccharides.
Poly means many or several.
How about the various artificial sweeteners?
Well, they're not processed the same way. That's good. That's a good question, and they can be used. They're not a source of sugar in the same way. Doesn't mean they cannot be utilized by cells, but they're not utilized by sugar. So, I mean, so sugar-free sodas, for example, they're not going to give you a noticeable increase in you won't see glucose rise. If I'm monitoring if we're looking at my sugar, if I have a sugar-free product, they are sugar-free. These are sweeteners that are not acted on like glucose.
Right, caloric.
They're not caloric, non-caloric, as I understand it.
Dean.
Yeah, I would urge you to put in glutamine in Wikipedia, as I'm doing right now. The most abundant, naturally occurring, non-essential amino acid in the human body, and you get it from kale. You get it from red meat at the top, and cabbage and kale at the bottom. But it's everywhere. But it's non-essential. It goes on, but very interesting. And I know the thing about honey. It's in between.
Non-essential usually means your body can make it. You don't have to get it.
Exactly. We can synthesize glutamine.
I just wanted to comment about the non-sugar sweeteners. Basically the OLs like maltitol, sorbitol. They're actually pretty bad for you, but they might not be cancer causers, but I can't tolerate them myself.
They're described as non-nutritive, so they just pass through your body.
They affect your digestive system, however.
Okay.
Right. Laxatives in more than a small amounts are laxatives.
And the best strategy is eliminate your need for tasting sweet things. And that's what I've done.
Yeah, I make muffins with chocolate, cinnamon, coffee, and very little sweetener, and so they're a little dead tasting, but they're good. You get to actually taste the other flavors better. You don't need a lot of sweetener anyway.
Carol and Tom, are you still, your hands are still up?
Yeah, I'm still hoping to get somebody who has information on glucose versus fructose.
Yeah, I should know that, but I don't.
Carol,
Is it only
it's complicated?
Yep.
Your body will use the sucrose or the fructose or the glucose to provide sugars in your blood that are then converted to
God damn it.
It's a 3-letter ATP, I believe, that the mitochondria convert to the cellular energy. They basically combine the sugar in your blood with oxygen and release carbon dioxide and provide this energy to your cells, as I understand it.
okay, so to get the benefits of
But it's complicated in that the fructose is commonly available in fruits with other nutrition and what are they called? The various sources of flaxseed meal, and apples are high in, I'm blanking on the word.
Fructose.
No.
Apples are, fiber.
Fiber, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Too easy.
Yeah.
But how your body absorbs those depends on the whole array of what's with it and which gut bugs you have that are assisting the process. We're only just learning some of the details of the mTOR pathways and other.
Okay. This video talks about the fasting part of things, and let's see if I can find
The
it.
other thing I was going to say
go ahead.
is that the artificial sweeteners that give you the sweet taste trigger some of the body's reaction, and it's expecting the sugar or the glucose or the fructose or the sucrose that come with the sweet taste, and then doesn't get it. And so some people are very sensitive to that. What is it? My father ran a health food store 40 years ago. And the word around was among airplane pilots to avoid the artificial sweeteners because they weren't able to pass their medical testing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. All right, let's see if we can bring this one up here.
Yeah, well, the only sweeteners I've
What happens to cancer cells?
Say again?
that do not have research indicating they're harmful are stevia extract and monk fruit extract.
Right.
It's the only good one.
Yep. Stevia, if you gotta have sweet, and we all do at some point, stevia and monk fruit, probably the
Stevia
best.
extract and monk fruit extract.
Fructose is probably one of the worst.
Yep.
But if you ever saw Breaking Bad, stevia was really bad for you.
Yeah, but if you go down to the supermarket and don't buy your crap on Amazon or whatever, and you read the labels, they will brag about no high fructose corn syrup. Yeah. But just if you can somehow or another just eliminate your craving. You remember that sugar and salt over the last 10,000 years have been more valuable than gold. In other words, they were a rare, rare commodity. And now they're abundant.
Yeah, and you went down to get your coffee. Did you get anything with your coffee this morning? You mentioned, Dean, like a pastry.
No, I don't do pastries.
Okay, just checking. I was just checking. You got your coffee. Okay.
And I watched a guy dump a quarter of a cup of sugar in his coffee. I go, "Oh, that'll work, right? Won't it, buddy?" And he goes, "Yep." And I put a little bit of half and half in my coffee to cool it off so I could sip it, and that was
okay. All right. Okay. Let's look at this one. All right. So,
Dean,
go ahead.
So I have a very dear friend who does a 24-hour fast, or 23 hours every single day of his life. And I had a guy I worked with for years who did the same thing. He ate once a day, just like our ancestors did for 200,000 years. And they were both quite healthy. So yeah, I don't know. And I have done the rabbit food mimic fast, where I ate nothing but kale and nuts and all that for 24 hours, and I felt pretty good. I'm not on chemotherapy, but I'm trying to not be on chemotherapy.
Yeah, and when you're sick, it's and you've got comfort food around. It might be even more difficult. Anyway, so here are some of the summary of this. She mentioned 3 main types of diets: 16-hour fast, and then eat during and you hear like 4 to 8 hour period that you're feeding in. Then it would be more than a 16-hour fast, but that's just preference and working into it. I've done that mainly for losing some weight. Then she talked about it, a more extensive fast once a week, and then a fasting mimicking diet, and that was just mentioned. That still does what the other more extensive dieting does. That fasting mimicking diet, non-starchy stuff, whole fruits, including berries and apples. It surprises me that they put oranges in there, because I get a real sugar jump when I eat oranges. Healthy fats, avocados, walnuts, and olive oil. So it's focusing on those kinds of things. Then let's get into more of these. The natural products and as part of the hacks. And that, when I first started looking at this, I thought that's what it.
We have questions, Warren. David?
Go ahead.
What I wanted to know was what her name was. She did an excellent job of summarizing the.
Yeah, I'm sure you could find it on that. You'll get the video, so you could take a look at it. I should have written that. I usually write that down when I'm doing those. Let's see if I can find it here.
I've posted all of the.
What happens to cancer cells?
Okay, yeah. So it's already been posted. But
I posted it, and there's a Word file in the chat about everything that Warren has given me, which is everything he's in this presentation.
Yeah, I didn't see that because I got here later.
Well,
no, I posted it just a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay, I'll look again. Thank you.
But you have to download that. It doesn't, if you save the chat, it doesn't get saved. It's a Word file.
Okay, so we've talked about those. Okay, go ahead.
My only comment was that I'm going to be doing this thing on the gut brain coming up, and I'm sort of marveled at the extent to which there's this dichotomy of the generic cell study of humans and the bacteriology and the biome study, and they seem like they're two separate ways of looking at things, and it's confusing to me because I don't see how you can separate those two things in a holistic wellness situation.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That'll be interesting to hear you talk about that. We've had that discussion here a few years back as well. Some information about that, so it'll be good to review, and I'm sure you'll have different content. Okay, so some of the
David and Tom still have questions.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that fasting is a mental thing. You, I have inadvertently found myself doing a 3-day fast. Well, once you've done it a couple of times, it doesn't really bother you. Your body changes over, and you go on, and people offer you food, and you say, no, thank you. And if they're persistent,
you're not really hungry after a while. So
how
many hours, let me ask you, how many hours does it take in a fast before you're starting to say, I'm not really hungry anyway?
Not very many.
Not many. Somewhere around 18 or 19. But by the time I've gone 30 hours, oh, that's food. Well, no, not now.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to keep going. I'm gonna finish this. I'll have 2 days, and then oh no, I'll go. I'm not hungry. Well, let's go for 3 days.
Yeah. So like you say, it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mental thing.
It sounds horrible, but nah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's complicated. It depends. Some people react one way and some people react differently.
Okay.
So, do you have to worry about electrolytes when you're fasting?
Absolutely. You want to pay attention to what your body is maybe telling you. And some people are much better at that than others. My wife is very sensitive to her body.
I wonder maybe if you know about that, how about especially in older people, they might get dehydrated doing this because
that's absolutely true.
They're walking away from the kitchen, and like I'll have half a dozen cups of coffee a day, and if I'm not, and food stimulates my need for coffee. So if I just eschew food, I'm not drinking as much. So that might be an issue as well as electrolytes. That's great question. That's a great thing to think about. Okay, go ahead.
We filter all of our water, and then we add in some sea salt. Specialized, not really specialized, but salt that's sold as what is it?
Balanced.
Yeah, balanced. No, it's sea salt from deposits that are dried out and then mined.
Yeah. Real quick, I'll defer to Ak and come back.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just want to quickly talk about fasting. I have done it as well in the past, and as David was saying, yeah, it's really not a bother once you do it once or twice. I wanted to do a 40-day fast. I wasn't successful. I'm not successful yet. And it's kind of hard to do if you're like in summertime and working hard or whatever. Anyway, but the things I have encountered, maximum I have done is 7-day fast, and usually I break my fast because it's also important when you break your fast, you're coming back to normal diet. You're also very careful, otherwise it can actually harm you as well. So I usually have I make homemade miso soup with some seaweed and soybean paste and some chili powder and just salt. And that usually is pretty tasty. Also, avocados helps as well, and eggs. I know some people don't do eggs because they would count it heavy, but in my case, it's okay. The only thing I've run into situations when I do it, like up to 4 days past, is I get headaches, and that's usually electrolyte imbalance. So I usually just take salt, and that usually makes my headache go away. And I've only puked once or twice when I had MCT oil or coconut oil. Well, mostly coconut oil because it's cheaper. Just double the quantity. But then
that's when you're
I
breaking. That's when you're breaking your fast.
Yeah, that's when I'm breaking the fast.
Okay.
But also there was one time like twice I ended up puking, which was very unusual because it's like in completely empty stomach, like just water, and that was surprising to me. So I wasn't expecting that, and that tells me that I need to stop my fast at that point. So that's usually, but I'm trying to get past that. So I'm not sure if anyone else has tried doing it, and if they have, how long or how successful have they been? Thanks.
I've just done minimal fasting, just the one early one, the 18-hour or so. I would never go till I puke. So now I'm going to mention some things that you see in the media. All right, and so resveratrol from grapes, and you see, and wine and such, and there's indications that it inhibits this mTOR and induces apoptosis in the stem cells, the death of stem cells. Some indication. So, of course, the people see this in the media, mentions of this, and they say, well, let's make a product. And so there are all sorts of products out there based on the things that are going to be mentioned here. And you can buy supplements. It usually gets the supplements. But there's some evidence that this can do something, whether it's in human trials that are conclusive or not. I don't know. And there are some that I'll show you that have been followed with studies. Curcumin is another one you see, that's found in turmeric. In this case, this is an interesting one because it supposedly blocks the ability of a stem cell to leave its little pocket of cells and then start floating around in the body. And that's what moves around, and then you find cancer tumors everywhere in your body or in other places that were not where it originally is. Here's another one. This is from apples, quercetin, and it has specific effects on supposedly cancer stem cells in the colon. So these are commonly. Who mentioned that they had a relative or father with a food store, not a health food store? Who was that?
That was me.
Oh, okay, David. And so there are all these products that people say, oh, but there's some evidence that this can do something. Let's make a product, and that's that's fine. You're making a product that might be useful to something for somebody.
By the way, my father died at 98.
Yeah. Okay. He actually used his
My
product.
dad beat him by 1 year, 99. Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll call it a tie.
Well,
My mother at 97, but she didn't do any of this stuff. Okay. But she didn't have cancer. That's for sure.
Can I interrupt real quick? Why do we need products? We have food. And when you mention grapes, and I've always thought the food pyramid, when they say fruits and vegetables, so people go pig out on sugar, oranges, etc. And when you mention grapes and wine, you are talking about red grapes and black grapes and red wine. White grapes are useless, as far as I know.
And we'll mention that. And there's another problem with those beautiful red grapes. But here we go. Let's continue. Green tea this is specifically, they think there's evidence that shows that the prostate-specific antigen that's produced by a prostate cancer, it can reduce the levels in your blood. So that's an indicator that the prostate cancer is growing less. That's green tea. Then soy can reduce inflammation. Broccoli, sulforaphane, can inhibit the generation, the growth of the cancer. Continuing, metabolic hacks. Here's some more related to prostate. This is some data actual from people, but it's not huge studies. None of these are really huge studies. Pomegranate extract. Okay, so that might be useful. How many pomegranates would you have to eat to do that? Would that be a practical thing? Milk thistle. How about that? So if you chew on milk thistle seeds, this might suppress that transmission of the transitory nature of cancerous stem cells that allow the things to move around your body and produce tumors around the body. And then here's berberine. It's another plant thing that can induce death of cells and the getting rid of cell parts that essentially are waste. Okay, so here, grapes, berries, green and black tea, stuff with color. Coffee and Coke are examples of food containing high levels of polyphenols, and that's where the red grapes come in. These have these polyphenols that have some activity. They've been proven to be anti-angiogenic. This is the providing blood supply to cancerous tumors. Cancers will get blood supply by promoting blood vessels that come into the cancer growth. And there are other activities of these colored compounds in plants. And this shows I know it's difficult to read. It shows the compounds in the various plant materials, and this shows the problem. A couple of things I'll point out here. I think resveratrol, the grapes, berries, and red wine, like you mentioned. In order to get the amount of grapes, the resveratrol, by eating grapes, you'd have to eat 1 or 2 cups. Well, if you're controlling sugar, that's a big load of sugar. If I eat 1 or 2 grapes, I can see a spike in sugar, in glucose, in my blood glucose. 1 or 2 cups. I mean, before I was really aware of that, I would have a bowl of grapes, and if I could, I'd get a virgin to feed them to me. But it would never work out that way. But so there's a problem with the problem that these products, the supplements, solve is that they can get the active ingredient without the sugar or something else, or make it practical to use. Here's pomegranate extract. To give an active amount, 1 to 3 grams of an extract, or 1 to 2 pomegranates daily. And here's the milk thistle that was there. You can get a supplement, or sorry about that, or chew a bunch of these seeds, but it turns out they're not very the material is not very available if it's not extracted. Anyway, so this is an interesting chart that is available in the information that Stan sent around. Some important considerations with using these materials. There's no diet or hack will cure these cancers. Dietary interventions, part of something more extensive, including chemotherapy, for example, other treatments. These might help the process of controlling the cancers. They're not just do this and your cancer's gone. So you work with professionals. However, the professionals I've worked with, both with, and I did everything at Mayo. No, they didn't sit me down and say, do these other things, be aware of your diet and all. They really are not interested, frankly. I was a little surprised at that.
You're only taught to treat illnesses after you get them, not prevention.
That's
I'm
right.
not surprised. In my experience, doctors are stupid about nutrition.
Yeah, that's American.
Warren, we have a bunch of hands up.
Okay, go ahead.
Tom Walsh.
Okay. Well, you've already said a lot of what I was going to say, which was from a couple slides back, and that was about grapes. Where the resveratrol is in the grape skins.
Uh-huh.
All the sugars are in the rest of the grape. So you don't want to eat the whole grape, just the skin.
Okay. All right.
And also, so it's become a big marketing thing for wine, red wine. It's healthy for you. Well, a lot of the sugar from the grapes has been converted into alcohol, which has its own problems. But so it's probably not as bad as straight grapes. Chocolate's the same type of thing. There are some good things in the cocoa beans, but they add all this other sweeteners and fats and things to the chocolate to make it taste good, and it's really not that good for you, generally, especially milk chocolate. But so our food industry markets these things as healthy, but the way they process them, they really don't end up healthy for you.
Yeah, I think you're right. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, if you could just go back maybe 1 slide or 2 slides where you had the chart, and adding on to what Tom was saying, I think it makes sense. Actually, all of these things in fermented form are very healthy and metabolically easy to process. So kombucha is a good alternative for green tea because that's usually what is used.
Look at most
soybean,
kombucha, though, it has tons of sugar added to it to make it taste good.
That's true, but when it's fermented, usually it's bioload or glycemic index. It's not as heavy, especially assuming you have a healthy gut. And then you can say, okay, for soybeans, you have miso. I'm not sure about broccoli, but yeah, wine would be the alternative version. again, it's all about moderation, right? Curcumin is turmeric. Usually Indian people add it in their foods, like every food. So maybe it's a question of moderation, like having it daily versus having it all at once kind of concept. And then the same thing can apply for whether it's like tofu and stuff or temp. It's all like fermented, right? So sauerkraut could be another good thing, or kefir yogurt would be another thing. And with apple, you can make apple cider vinegar, and that also is now fermented. So it's fascinating. Like all these healthy things are linked to fermented things. Technically, if you count the number of cells in a human body, I think the microbiome would be like 51% or greater than actual human cells. So that's fascinating. But I was curious to know, as a question as well, that out of the cancer treatment, like generic cancer treatment, not targeting anything particularly, what percentage are cancer treatments as like successful in recovery? I was curious. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a real good question. And I asked that when I was going to have surgery, and they say, what's the chances of you getting it? One and done. And they say, oh, maybe 70%. They don't know. But I was of that 30% where it came back, and it technically they just didn't get it all. There were margins that when they cut my prostate out, there were margins that they look at and they say, it's too close to the margin, and then you're all sewn up, you're done, and they say, well, we didn't get it all, and they knew that, and so they were expecting fully that I would have a recurrence. And then when I had the radiation therapy, I asked, well, what's the chances of this getting everything? I mean, they really radiated me and they said, well, about 70% we get it all. And so, but those all has to happen is a cancer stem cell being loosed in the body. And what are the chances of that? Apparently, it's pretty high. And so reoccurrence is, once you get this thing, reoccurrence is pretty high probability, I think.
Yep. Okay.
So that's why some of these things, especially if you think it can focus on the stem cells that come out of these growths, that sounds like a real good a possibility. But I had my radiation in 23, so they start the countdown again, the magical 5 years, which isn't magical at all. But then they'll push me over to the chemo side of things, and it just and then what are the chances of it reoccurring after chemo? Well, it's about the same, I'm afraid. So that 70% success is pretty good, but it's not everything.
Dean.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So this has been so motivational to me. I'm gonna go to Costco, buy some more. I used to eat green tea every day. I eat at least one avocado every day. We have 2 pomegranate trees, but doing your own pomegranate with a juicer is a pain. I just go to Costco and get the pomade or whatever it is.
That has a lot of sugar too.
Yeah, I understand. I've done all that research, but so the best advice, the best way to treat cancer is not get it, but we do not have total control over that, unfortunately.
I think you're right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Eric.
Yeah, if you get
and turmeric, something Ox said. Indians invented turmeric, right? And turmeric is something we have on our spice shelf.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, if you get into chemotherapy, then you tend to get leukemia years later. So that's
Yep.
good if you can avoid it. As far as all these things, well, as Veritol, first of all, it's controversial how really helpful large supplements of resveratrol are, but to get the amount that David Sinclair takes about a gram a day, but to get that from grapes and wine, you'd have to consume huge amounts, which then you're getting huge amounts of sugar and alcohol. So, that's not do that. As far as blueberries, everybody recommends blueberries. Well, they are good, but unfortunately, of course, the industry breeds variants that sell the best, and those are ones that are, guess what, just bloated with sugar. So I get the wild blueberries, which are smaller and more shriveled, but they have not as sweet, but they, for that reason that they don't have as much sugar, but they do have some of the
How about
beneficial.
service berries? Ever heard of service berries?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They're a deviation of a blueberry, but they grow in Minnesota.
Wonder if that's the same as they're called wild variant of blueberries.
Yeah, I think it's wild blueberries, and I loved them when I was a kid. Yep.
Yeah, that's what kinds I get. You can get them from
These can
Amazon.
become service berries can become almost like a tree. They have a beautiful blossom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I haven't heard of that. Yeah.
And then for all supplements in general, the best source I found is consumerlab.com, which is a pay thing. It's like 35 or 40 a year, but it's huge amount of unbiased information for well over 300 supplements, all the common supplements they list. And if you put research one, they give you not only all the relevant peer-reviewed research, pro and con, my doctor is also has a PhD in immunology, likes it, and they also do their own testing on each on many of the common brand specific brand supplements of what they actually have, and depressingly, many of them don't have exactly what they say they do. They have too much or too little, or other ingredients that might be harmful. And then they give you the best of the ones that do have a good approximation of what they say and not other things.
Okay,
And
I need to.
they
I
give
need
you the
to.
best value per unit of that, and it's phenomenally saves a huge amount of money.
Okay, I need to get on with things here. I've just got to. I'm going to show one more video, and then we'll wrap this up because we're going to be at the end here. Okay, so wanted to just take a quick look at summarizing this: the future of health with personalized nutrition beyond these what we saw before, a generic diet. Looking at your DNA, your microbiome, and lifestyle, and giving you better advice. They're using data-driven insights with with big data, basically, using wearables. Like I've got a glucose monitor on, but the data is not really being processed to help me. But it's kind of, you see what foods do to you, so you're more aware of what you should do. But then some outcomes: blood sugar control, preventing the glucose spikes. The spikes of glucose are what probably causes most of the damage. And then metabolic optimization, identifying efficient fuel sources to boost energy and avoid the slumps without these glucose spikes, and sustainable weight management. And that's primarily why I've gone to using those, but using a monitor. But specifically in this case, to really take a closer look at the individual and seeing what makes sense for them. So I'm not going to do this. We're not going to do this one. It's about similar stuff.
The future of
Similar stuff, but I'll summarize it. Beyond generic diets, it moves. It takes a look at we're taking a look at people are taking a look at DNA and lifestyle, and this is more of the same. More of the same. I'm sorry if this kind of repeats, but I'm just trying to get to the end here. And sustainable outcomes. Okay, so anyway, key takeaways. I've got two computers open, so I'm looking at some text. Metabolic hacks might lead to cancer prevention or recurrence through diet and natural products. We think that some of this is obvious, but there might be some strategies that we can use, especially if you get to the point where if you do have cancer and you're undergoing some sort of therapy, how to adjust your diet and in a way that can enhance the benefit of those treatments. At least that's what I'm looking at, because that's where I'm at in my life. But if you some of these may actually prevent some cancer, and that's what we would hope for. This is a picture of an AI-generated picture of a cancer patient throwing various foods and berries and spices at the cancer and stem cell wall in their way. So open it up for questions.
Hey, Warren, this is Doug. Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you for an awesome presentation. The only thing that you didn't cover is the value of eating Cheetos and popcorn. You know?
Oh, I know those. I didn't have to repeat those.
Yeah. What they're subsidized by EBT.
Say that again.
Cheetos and all the other junk food are subsidized by EBT, aka food stamps.
Oh,
which keeps the farmers, big pharma, very, very happy.
Yeah. So is that, how's other people's cancer journey? I'm an old guy, so I don't, when I was in my 30s, I was having a vein in my leg stripped out, and in a room in the hospital next to me was this young guy in his 20s. He had just been married, and he had testicular cancer. Mm-hmm. And I feel myself very fortunate to be alive at this time at my age. Go ahead. Next, David.
David.
You said that the doctors don't have much to say about nutrition, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
If you come across a doctor by the name of Michael Greger, Greger, his mother, I believe, or grandmother, I guess, was diagnosed with cancer, given 6 months to put her affairs in order at the age of 65, I believe. And he went across country to a doctor who said he could help her, and he did. And she died at 95. But he went into the doctor that she went to see, basically controlled it through nutrition and exercise. And so he got into telling people, and he's rather abrasive about it, frankly, but he has written 4 books. The first one, I believe, was How Not to Die, and then a How Not to Die cookbook, and a How Not to Age, and a How Not to Age cookbook. But longevity information is pretty clear that diet and exercise makes a big difference. The Nobel Prizes have been pretty clear about the metabolic pathways that those affect. 2 of your videos, I've seen a fair number of videos on this kind of information. As I say, my father was a engineer, frankly, for 25 years, and then he was a sales engineer for 10 years, and then he retired and ran a health food store for 15 years. And so I've heard some about this for my whole life, pretty much, or most of my life, pretty much. Anyway, 2 of your videos were the best I've ever seen on those 2 particular subjects. So they were excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, second that.
Yeah, there's a lot out there, and there's all these stories, you know, and then the people try to make a business out of it.
Well, but the story I wanted to, the summary that I would put on it, and a direction that you haven't gone into for the future, but that I think is more important. Cancer is basically normal. Your body deals with it all the time. The problem is that some of the foods that are part of the typical American diet put you into that growth mode and never let you recover. Yeah. So the things that are going to make the difference are your immune system. And your immune system is dealing with it from the stem cells are developing all through your childhood into your various different types of body cells. And if that process goes wrong, basically you die. There are lots of different ways for it to go wrong. So the future of cancer is protecting our immune system, and also little things like sanitation.
Well, and then chemo is destructive of your immune system, as I understand.
Chemo, the cancer cells are so fast growing that anything that makes them more susceptible to chemo than the regular cells. And so we're poisoning ourselves as much as possible without killing our regular cells to kill cancer. So obviously that affects your whole body. If in fact you could stimulate your immune system so that it would kill the cancer cells without killing the rest of the body, that's likely to work a little better.
We're working on that.
And the idea that a fast for after 3 days helps reboot your immune system T cells is one thing that fast mimicking diet probably doesn't give you. That the water fast with salt and such would give you. And oh, by the way, you can live without water for 7 days, but you can live without food for 40.
Yeah.
Might tell you something about whether fasting is terribly harmful for most bodies, most young bodies. They, by the way, recommend medical care before you fast if you're over 60, I believe.
What kind of medical care? You mean as an exam?
Somebody who knows enough about nutrition and health. They worry about the elderly getting fragile. losing their either control of or musculature.
Okay.
And falling.
Yeah, I see. Thank you.
Mark?
Yeah, so I wanted to say this. I'm waiting for the day when they use sugar as pesticides to keep the birds and squirrels and stuff eating fruits by making them so high in sugar content. It's more like a joke to what Eric was saying. But at the same time, yeah, along with serviceberry, the other berries that look like blueberries are Haska berries. They're like elongated blueberries, and they're usually pretty sour and tardy. So that's also another option or suggestion. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Dean?
What about acai, which comes up in my crossword puzzles all the time?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be, and I don't know where I got it in my genes, but I've always been addicted. When I was a kid, I was addicted to sugar, but to sour things. And I think the Korean Marines I served with for a year in Vietnam, because they turned me on to kimchi, but I've always pickles, whatever. I've always liked. Some of my natural cravings have been for
Jesus Christ.
foods that are actually healthy. Can you imagine that? Yeah. So I guess I'm paleo. But yeah, Tom, yeah, I'm losing my train. Can you go back to me? I'll go to the end of the line. Thank you very much.
Okay. Tom Walsh.
Okay, my wife had cancer, started as bladder cancer. And they ended up taking out a lot of the organs down there and built her a new bladder from the section of her intestine. But she had chemotherapy, of course. She also had some immunotherapy and a combination for a while. And things were good for a few years, but it came back. We tried a bunch of things, including immunotherapy. Some of the newer drugs are approved only for certain types of cancers, and even though they could be efficacious for some of the others, they'll only insure you for them for the specific ones that they have on their lists. So I was going to say one other thing that could be helpful for the immune system are certain mushrooms. Shiitake and reishi mushrooms can help your immune system, and we were just kind of starting to get into that kind of thing. But she did succumb after 5 years or so.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to go through. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if there's some cancer stem cells still around, they'll proliferate. She ended up with lesions in the brain, and what actually finally got her was her liver when it started blocking up her bile ducts. So
really, yeah, it's a tragic disease, and it's many diseases. So,
but metastasizing, yeah.
Amazing, yeah.
I think there went from gut cancer to brain cancer in 2 years.
Yeah, H-Tom then?
I forget what I was going to say. Oh, I could say something else though. On a happier note, my mother's brother, Woody, is living in California, and the housing thing he's lived in decided to get him to come to the surprise birthday party. And the surprise was complete. He wasn't there. When they found him, he was out golfing. They hadn't told him he was having a surprise birthday party. But Woody is doing fine at 102.
Get out. Is he in the San Diego area, or can I go see him?
No, it's up in Frisco somewhere.
I can get there.
Okay, thank you.
Look for Woody Woodbury.
Okay, Eric, then.
One set of really bad, especially bad carcinogenics foods is meats processed with nitrosamines or anything like that. And some of them they will say processed only with natural celery juice. And I consulted my friend who's a doctorate in chemistry about that, and they basically it metabolizes the same thing, so it ends up the same chemicals at carcinogens. So yeah, and I really fight with my daughter, you know, family, try to be somewhat healthy, but they still eat like pepperoni pizza. Well, yeah, a pepperoni, sausage, ham, bacon. I love bacon, and I thought I had found a veggie bacon that was almost as good, but then I found it had a red number 3, which is a petroleum-based carcinogenic dye in it. And now Bobby Kennedy's finally getting rid of those in foods, but it's going to take like you know, they give them like a year or two to phase it out.
Yeah.
Red number 5 been banned for a while, but there's still
red
others.
3, don't get anything with red 3 in it. I know there's some others you can find on.
Yeah, but it makes the food look so good.
Oh, well, the Canadians just use natural food dyes, and that seems to be okay.
Well, they don't stay around as long. You know?
Yeah.
So I understand. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Maybe
Eating is very visual, very visual.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'm up next. Yeah, I do food porn. When friends go out to eat, I'll go, send me picture of your food. I don't want to see your frickin' face. I've seen that. I can do food porn. No, it's very, very important. So I remembered what I was going to say. Oh, my joke for the day is, as they say in Papua New Guinea, you are whom you eat, or who you eat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing, and I will re-cubed iterate, that when I was a kid, there were just passing 2 billion people on the planet. And now I think we're at 9 going on 12 or 11 or who knows.
So you're suggesting cannibalism? Is that what you were saying?
Well, I loved those books when I was a kid. But yeah, ask the Donner Party. But all right, you threw me off track. And anyway, there is no diet acceptable for every human on the planet. There are 9 billion diets, and I've seen research on we're getting close to where someone can look at your genealogy, etc., and tweak the optimum diet just for you.
That's where AI could help.
Yeah,
absolutely, it could.
Carol?
Yes, avoid cannibalism because it leads to prion diseases.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The
Kuru.
people of New Guinea had the first recognized prion disease.
Really? Oh,
yes.
Okay. How
Which
about that?
I think they called Kuru.
Kuru. Yeah.
And it ended up being called Creutzfeldt-Jakob or something like that.
Okay. That was
And
similar.
it came from eating the brains of
Cows.
other people.
Well, I thought it was from eating brains and spinal products of cows.
No. That was the second big prion disease.
Okay.
And it turns out that was caused by feeding the cattle
Yes.
metabolic products from sheep.
Yep.
So kind of like cannibalism, but different. Forced cannibalism.
It is the way we it's forced cannibalism for other
I mean, ordinary beef cattle, who are not fed strange things, do not come up with prion diseases. But
Okay, thank you. Eric, you're last, and then we should
Yes.
the shiitake mushrooms, which I love, and but I found all the ones on Amazon that I could see were pretty much most of them were imported from China, and I wouldn't buy any food from there because they're probably grown in a toxic waste dump because that was the cheapest land they could rent. So I on more research, I found a online company called Taste of Japan in Japan, and you can get a mailer. They're about 4 times more expensive, which I'm willing to pay because they're, but I found if you buy $150 worth, you get free shipping from Japan, and it cuts it down some. And they're from a prefecture. They have a website. You can look them up, and they give the whole process. They're from a one prefecture in Japan, which has just perfect soil and climate. And there's huge amount of intensive hand labor. And since the farmers in Japan average 67 years old now, they hire some mentally retarded guys to help them, with heavy lifting. They have to cut down these big oak logs and position them, and then implant the fungi, the shiitake mushroom fungi on there, and then grow them and then hand harvest them. So they're very expensive, but they're so good. And
are these, like when you get them, are they dried mushrooms?
Yeah, yes, they're very light, so the air freight isn't that much, but you still have to get if you order $150 worth of all of their products, which if you like other Japanese things, then you get free shipping. So I do like it's a year's supply, and they'll last indefinitely. I think if you keep them cool and dry, So
okay,
you can go to Costco and buy dried mushrooms, and I'm gonna go probably today, tomorrow, or next week, get some more.
But where are they from?
Well, I'm gonna go look right.
Yeah, if you look carefully, most of them will say product of China.
Yeah.
Well, before I eat food from China, and the only food I can eat, and before the only cars made are in China, I will walk and I will starve to death.
Well, my wife is a product of China, actually indirectly.
I love the Chinese people.
She was born in the Philippines, but she's 100% Chinese.
Oh, one of them. Yeah.
And she buys the mushrooms from the Chinese food stores. Anyway.
Okay. Yep, that's okay.
And they're from China, probably.
Before we close, Eric, do you want to say something about what you're going to be talking about next week?
Oh, let's see. It's most largely pretty fast coming huge unemployment problems resulting from advances in AI, especially AI coding from just verbal instructions.
So there will be politics involved, right?
Can't avoid it. I think, you can't really talk about human futures without
there you go.
Avoid it.
Yep.
Are you talking about what they call vibe AI?
What some people call it. I don't know if that's
vibe coding.
I don't like that term, but basically it's just giving skilled people now can give verbal instructions.
Yeah.
AI, some of the most advanced AIs, the main one in the lead now, they keep leapfrogging each other, but it's I'm blanking out now the name of it's Claude is the name of the program that's currently seems to be the most effective.
Large language models. Yeah.
Next week then.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then
by the way, I think one of the narrators in one of your videos, the older guy who was in set,
AI
scenes, I think he was AI.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You see that a lot, and it's kind of annoying. I hope they get better at it so you cannot identify it.
No, you will get pretty soon. Yeah, but AI will get so good or bad that it can't identify itself, and they've already tried that.
Yeah,
by the way, real quick. Did you see Stan's the Chinese robot, acrobatic robots?
Yes.
And I debated
really well
on whether that was AI or not.
Yeah.
How do we know? We don't know. Either way, it's freaking scary to me.
Yeah.
The Japanese robots too.
I mean, the same question: did they go to the moon, or was that just AI? No, just joking.
Well,
Yeah, no, yeah.
Good one, Warren.
Yeah.
Too bad Stan wasn't around for that.
They're
Yeah.
going to beat us back to the moon.
All right.
They're gonna,
Thanks all. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my main piece de resistance next week actually will be, it's a paper from the scientific literature, but that caused a huge ruckus and crash in the market recently, and it will be read by AI, but I think that's probably more desirable than being read by me. They have a better reading voice, I think.
That's the scary part about AI, because it reads everything, including the absolute total crapola. And I've been using AI a lot to get recipes for frittatas, et cetera, and it's usually pretty good, but it also absorbs everything from social media, which is 80%, 90% bad, garbage.